Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my Lupus living room. My name is Suzanne Turney, and I am the CEO of the Lupus Foundation of America's Great Ohio chapter, and I'm also a fellow Lupian. So today I'm in my living room, and one of my favorite things is talking to a fellow Lupian, and I found a new one. I love the new ones, I love the old ones, and I love this story. So today we have Valerie Tendra. Okay.
Tend
Tenda. Okay. And Valerie, we're going to make you a star today. Okay. And we had a short conversation because you're new. I saw you on the walk page and you're like, wow, blowing it up with donations and supporters. And it's like, who is this new warrior? So, Valerie, this is your moment of fame. I would love to know your lupus story. And I hope you feel comfortable in sharing it. And I'm so grateful that you took the time to join me this afternoon.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you asked.
So, where do you live? Tell us about yourself, and then we'll jump into the lupus stuff.
Okay. I live in Akron over in Ellet. Um, I work in Fairlawn. I'm a dental assistant. I absolutely love what I do. Um, let's see what else. I have a son that lives at home. He's in college. He's at Akron U.
Nice.
I have a loving husband that also is very much a big support for everything that I'm going through. He's a mail carrier,
Mhm.
so he's out there doing his thing in this lovely weather we're having.
It is lovely today, isn't it? 75 in Cleveland is great as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. I'll take the
Mhm.
70s over them 90s any day.
Yeah. So you have lupus, you're a newbie. How did that tell us about what brought you to the doctor and what was that journey like to get a diagnosis?
So I was diagnosed in May of last year. I I was talking to Alex right before and I was telling him I was thinking about it. You know, the diagnosis came pretty quickly, but the more I think about it now, um I guess the biggest thing I deal with lupus is the fatigue. And I'm tired all the time. And I was like, why am I so tired? And so I went to my primary doctor and I was talking to him and I'm thinking of all these other issues that I'm having, the brain fog and all the other little things, but I'm also 48 years old and so I'm in that perimenopause phase and all of those symptoms are very much the same with this and with that and so that was where my journey started maybe about 5 years ago because I was tired all the time. And so I went to him and he was like, well, maybe you should see your gynecologist. And, so then I'm bouncing around from doctor to doctor. And
Mhm.
the gynecologist said, well, you sound like a hot potato. And I was like, yeah, like, where are you going to bounce me to next? And then um, around Easter of last year, I got this really weird uh like rash on my shins, both legs. And I was like, it hung around for about 2 weeks. It wasn't itchy, it didn't hurt. It was just these little red dots, kind of like the blood came up to the surface. And I have a friend that is a nurse, and she was like, you should probably make an appointment, go see your doctor. That it's like petechia. And she was like, it can be caused by so many different things. So I made an appointment with my doctor, and of course, the rash went away. So I was like, well, I don't want to go to my doctor and be like, well, I had a rash. I took a picture of it, but it's gone now. So I
Mhm.
canceled the appointment because I didn't want to waste this time. So the next morning, I was in the shower and the rash came back.
Hmm.
So initially, I come to work. I call my doctor's office and I'm like, yeah, can I make that appointment again? So I made the appointment and he gave me the list of let's do some blood work. And in that blood work was where the ANA positive stuff came in. And he said, I think I want you to see a rheumatologist. And then that's where my fear jumped in because, of course, I get online. What's a rheumatologist do? And then so I start reading all the things. And the funny part and the God moment in this is they it was my doctor's a Summa doctor, so he gave me the referral for a Summa rheumatologist, and so I call, and they're like, now mind you, this is March of last year, and they're like, well, we have two different offices, and we don't have any openings until like February of 2025 and I'm like
Mm.
thinking, I don't know what this is. I can't wait that long. I'm not going to
Yeah.
wait that long to know. And so I call my doctor back and he gives me another name of this other office. And so, am I allowed to use my doctor's name?
Sure.
Okay. His name is Dr. Johnny Sue. He's got an office in
Mhm.
Hudson and he also has an office here in Fairlawn. And so I called to make this appointment. I think it's on it's either Thursday or Friday. And because Dr. Sue moved to this new office in Hudson, I think he was down in Canton before, but because he was new to this practice, he had an opening that Monday. So, that was my God moment. And then when I went and met him for my very first appointment, like he spent, I want to say I was probably there for 3 hours.
Oh, wow. Lucky you.
And he sat and he talked to me and
Oh,
just explained what all those test results were. And it was crazy. And so I've gone to the lupus support meeting that they have here in Akron, I think on
oh,
like the second
yeah.
Tuesday of the month.
With Natalie. Yeah.
So I went there, I want to say back in November, but I haven't been back just because my nightly meetings that I do normally are kind of
Clashing.
take over
Hmm.
that. Um, I'm talking to these women and I hear their stories and I get online and and that's what people told me, get into the support groups and talk to other people because I didn't know what lupus was. I had never heard of it before. I think I remember like a soap opera that my mom used to watch and one of the,
House.
characters
It was
there,
House. House
it
did
might
more for
have
lupus
been.
than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the ladies, that was what she had, and she was like, of course, dying, and it was crazy, and but that was the only thing I had ever heard about lupus, and so I started trying to educate myself, and I signed up for it was the Lupus 101 or
Hmm.
something that was
Hmm.
and I will tell you, I sat through that and I bawled my eyes out. Like, I think I got really scared in it. I thought,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, I've got a disease that there's no cure for. And all these people can have this and this and this. And it was a lot in the beginning. But I'll share this as well. I'm a recovering alcoholic. This past April, I celebrated 9 years of sobriety.
Oh, praise
And
God. Good for you.
so, in that, I use that as I guess, my positive in all of this, when I get in those points where I think, what's tomorrow going to bring? I think when I first was diagnosed, I was like, this is a disease that has no cure, and I'm going to have to take medications for the rest of my life. And, it sucks. But then I also think about my alcoholism, and that too is a disease that has no cure. But I'm living a pretty amazing life with that.
Mhm.
So that's what positive I bring into my lupus journey. One day at a time. That's all I got is one day at a
Wow.
time.
That's incredible. And so you shared with me that you go to these, meetings for the alcohol.
Yes,
And, I think even myself, because I'm very, very engaged in support groups. I believe they have such a strong value today that when I embarked on my journey with lupus, my staff, they should be sick and tired of hearing me say this, but it was incredibly lonely, miserable, and scared.
yes,
Okay. And it wasn't until my mother forced me to come to the Lupus Foundation to be with other like people that I began to see a new vision in my world. Okay. I think
right,
there's such value in learning the ups and downs of others who are on the same journey. And then the relationship, the camaraderie that goes with it, the support. Even in some days when I'm down, well, then I hold they hold me up. When they're down, I hold them up. And it's like a circle of friendship. Um, it's a community that I'm very attached to because I'm 74. I should be gone already. Okay. But these people are like family to me. All those we serve, all those that I have relationships with, I get it. I get their journey. And some journeys are not good. I mean,
right,
none of them are, some journeys are more challenging than others. Okay. Okay. And I feel so blessed that I survived mine because there were some very dark times when I thought it was the end of the road. Very,
right,
I can remember planning my funeral, picking my pallbearers. I can remember when they told me, go home, you're going to die. I remember those times. Okay. And here I am.
right,
I'm a miracle to me. I'm God's vessel. He's using me. And when I see people like you, I'm just in awe because I know what you went through. I know the struggle is real, and yet you figured it out, and you had multiple challenges. So I
mhm,
say kudos to you. Put that crown of glory on your head because you have been in the pit and you came out of it. And look at you, you're working, you have a family, and you can talk positive, and those are the blessings, man. And it's I'm not gonna, people always say, well, how do you do it, how do you do it, how do you do it? Talking isn't it? I don't think it's the talking. I think it's the sharing and caring and getting
right,
good information, you know
right.
good information. You were scared at the 101. Okay.
It
And
was it was
there's
way too soon for me.
too much. All right. That's good to know. That's good to know. Did you attend the new patient class or was it just a different 101 program?
I think I did. Well, I did the online one. It was an
Okay.
like a Zoom type course. But she did reach out to me because there was like some kind of like thing that you fill out afterwards, and I
Mm-hmm.
I was very honest that it was
Yeah.
just too much, and I don't know if I would want to do that again. And she reached out to me, and I explained to her, why I felt the way I felt, and
Mm-hmm.
and that was great. I love that, to know that. I mean, yeah, like we
So
make
we're
our
yeah,
stops and our own things.
yeah, so we're always trying to figure out what our Lupians want. Okay. How can
Right,
we best serve them? And I can tell you information, the right information is important. I can't tell you how many people I bump into that have wrong information. Okay.
right,
or they're in all these social groups with each other, and they're giving cute hugs and saying, "How's your day?" And that's all great. But some of them pass off information that just isn't right. Okay.
Right.
And so
Right.
I'm fearful that those types of platform, although they offer empathy, I don't think that's the place to get good sound information. So
Yeah.
maybe we need to shorten up that whatever you were attending. But if you talk to Rita about it, I'm going to double back and double check, because this is good to know. The goal isn't to scare you. The goal
Right.
is to educate you.
And it was, and I did go back and do it again.
Oh,
I just think in that moment I just wasn't ready.
there's a reality check.
And
Yeah.
like, even, I would go to my AA meetings, and those are big for me. When I'm going through anything, those women and those men in those meetings are what I need when I'm the day that I got my diagnosis.
Mhm.
My girls were all waiting on their phones, and when I didn't text them back because I went to this long 4-hour appointment. My mom was with me. We had to go get dinner afterwards, and they're all texting me, "What's going on? What's going on?" And that's great, but I would go to these meetings and want to talk about it because this is what I'm going through. And some of them would kind of, they'd be like, "Oh, I have an aunt that has that, and she's living a perfect life. You're gonna be fine." And it
Mhm.
didn't want to hear that at first because I was like, they're just negating it. I want to talk about this, like, let me, you're you're my support. I wanna. And at the same time, I had to remember that they're just trying to love me right where I'm at and trying to keep me calm in it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so I
I
kind
do.
of,
You know,
it,
I'm still mad at Judge Judy, okay? I don't know if you know who Judge Judy is, okay? But I'm still ticked off at her, okay? Her daughter-in-law apparently has lupus, and this was years ago. I'll never
okay,
forget when she said, "What's the big deal? My daughter-in-law has lupus and she's fine." And I'm thinking, "Whoa,
uh-huh,
whoa," because the platform she had could have done so much more for the disease than just
right,
fluff it off. Okay, well,
right,
she may be okay now, but there could be a storm coming, and a storm may have come. I don't know. I haven't followed her since. And some people have mild lupus, or some people have episodes and never have a problem again. Okay. And there's some that it's easy manageable, and there's some it's not. It's kidney involvement, it's brain involvement, it's heart involvement, and they have this incredible doctor journey. Okay. So for every one of us, it's different.
mhm,
It's different. So when someone just fluffs it off like, oh, it's like that's the problem we have with moving this disease forward is most people don't know what lupus is and they don't understand it. Look at you. You look beautiful. Look at me. I look gorgeous. No one knows we're sick. Okay.
right,
You can't
exactly.
see can't see from the outside. They can't see we're I'm taking 27 pills. I don't know what you're doing. Um, you but it's like you can't see the other side of the mirror. Um, I don't know. It's been incredible for me that I've survived this long, but not without hiccups, that's for sure.
How long have you had lupus?
So, you should be sick of hearing this, though, but you're new. All right. So, this is a refresher course here. So, I was 9 years old when I got sick. I couldn't
Oh,
walk at all. I had this bloody nose with clots coming out of my nose. I had oral ulcers in my mouth. I was bright red with a rash. I couldn't walk. My hair was falling out. And I have an identical twin. I think I was in the 3rd grade. I missed the whole 3rd grade, okay? I was either in the hospital or I was too sick to go to school. So I was always a year behind of my twin in school, which gave me other issues, okay?
right.
And then all through school, I was labeled as the sick twin. you know, they couldn't remember which name went which twin. Are you the sick
Right,
twin? And it was like a dagger in my heart every time, you know.
right,
But then I was misdiagnosed for years. I wasn't correctly diagnosed until the Cleveland Clinic thankfully gave the diagnosis of lupus, autoimmune, Hashimoto's, and I have a variety of autoimmune diseases. So I'm sure. So do you just? I don't want to say just, but does
right.
you have something else that goes with lupus, or did they diagnose you with anything else?
I've got it's not the Hashimoto's, but I've got the thyroiditis,
Okay.
something. Um, and what's the other one?
So it has sister diseases in the autoimmune family, like Raynaud's, Sjogren's, fibromyalgia.
Uh-huh.
Most people have like a thyroid problem.
Hmm.
So it's not unusual to have like a mixed connective tissue. Sometimes it's more prominent. Um, Recently, I read an article on RA and lupus, how there is a difference. Where in the beginning, um, uh, the Arthritis Foundation labeled lupus something defined it completely different than the Lupus Foundation of America did. So the illness is evolving,
Right.
and it is one of the leading causes of death of young women in this country.
Hmm.
And more postmenopausal women are being diagnosed. But the good news today is there's more drugs to treat it today than there was during my timeline, and
Yes.
it's diagnosed quicker than it was in my timeline. And I'd like to say that there's a cure on the horizon, but I just heard today that the federal government just cut $800 million from NIH. So I think the whole world is wonky. I always use that word because I don't know what else to use. So I don't know what tomorrow brings, but right now there are multiple drugs. There are multiple studies going on. And quite frankly, I didn't think I'd live this long to see it. So I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited. My formula works for me. Um, it may not work for everybody. You want to share
Right.
what if you're on medication? Can you share that medication?
Right now, I'm only taking the Plaquenil,
Hmm.
and I can say I haven't had any more of the rashes on my legs that was what actually brought me into the disease. Um, but also over those 5 years of trying to figure things out, I get the sores in my nose.
Hmm.
And I always just thought it was because I work in a very hot dental office and I wear masks all the time. It's just dry. And,
Hmm.
so I'm starting to learn, oh, that was probably that,
Yeah.
over time.
You're
Um,
putting the pieces together. You're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah.
um, but I'm also having a lot of pain
Oh,
in different areas. Like
mhm.
I just got off of prednisone, the 20-day,
Yeah.
um, because I was having a lot of neck and shoulder pain. And when it comes on, like people don't understand, when I'm rolling around in the bed and my husband's like, "What are you doing? You sound like you're trying to cough up a hairball." And I'm like literally crying because
Yeah.
something felt like somebody jabbed something into my shoulder and then just started pulling the muscle. And no way that I moved could I stop it. And then that continued for weeks.
Yeah.
And it's things that I just cannot explain.
Yeah, the pain is so unpredictable because, to echo you, it doesn't have to necessarily be in your 1 minute could be in my knee, next minute could be in my hand, or it could be in my back and or the whole body, but it just comes out of nowhere. It's like a thief in the night. And it's like 1 minute I'm okay, and the next one's like, "Holy cow, what is going on here?" And the
Yeah.
pain can be
Well,
very it's terrible.
yeah, and you're like, "No, I don't recall. I literally got into bed and I covered up
Mhm.
with a blanket And,
So
aside,
let's talk about teeth. Have you had any problem with your teeth?
I
I'm
will say
curious.
not, but I have read that, lupus can cause problems with, and I've been a dental assistant for 18 years,
Hmm.
and nowhere in any of the continuing education that I've done have has there ever been anything about lupus.
Well, that's interesting because I all
Yeah,
every December I'm having a root canal. Okay, every December, and my assistant goes, "Oh, it's time for Suzanne to have lupus teeth again." Okay, so it's like it's like what is going on here? Um, but that's a topic we do have to touch on because there are people, and there are people who say, "Should I be given an antibiotic before I go to the dentist?" Because infections are our enemies. Okay, and there are
true.
some dentists that won't touch you until you have an antibiotic with lupus.
Right. And see, there's not, that's not anything. I've been with my boss now, this October will be 8 years. And, aside from somebody having a hip replacement or having some kind of hardware put in their body, those are the only reasons why we have them take an
An
antibiotic
antibiotic.
treatment because, yeah, if we're getting in there and stirring things up, yes. Anything that happens here can cause ruckus everywhere else, but I guess it could be the opposite way around too.
Yeah.
If
So
you've got other things going on in your body, you know, it can cause problems in your mouth as well. It's all connected.
sure, sure. Infections and pneumonia are our enemies.
Uh-huh.
Huge, huge enemies. Okay. Wow. So, all right, you're coming to the walk. How did you hear about the walk?
Probably the email that gets sent, as I'm in the beginning, I'm signing up and I want to learn from here. And so, I got onto the Lupus website and I signed up for the Ohio chapter. And so I get the emails, I get the monthly emails with, information about this and that. And so I saw that and I saw the one in Columbus and I thought maybe I could do a road trip, get some girls together or, whoever. And it didn't work out in my schedule. So I saw the one for Cleveland and I don't normally go to Cleveland a lot. It's, not one of my favorite places, but um I was like, well, I'm gonna
What the heck? We got a lake, right? We got a lake.
like my brother-in-law and his new fiance were here. They live out in Oregon, Washington State, like right on the border. And it was her first time in Ohio. And she wanted to go to Cleveland. And my husband just kept making fun and saying, okay, well, did you bring your whatever, your gun vest so you don't get shot, kind of stuff. And he was like,
Is that what people in Akron think? You know what? People in Cleveland think that of Akron because I want to
right,
do a walk in Akron and they're saying, no, you don't want to go to Akron. It's like, why is, because we're on the border of Akron and Cleveland. If I walk
right,
out the office to the left, I'm in Akron. To right, I'm in Cleveland. It's
right. Right. So, and I was like, well, I'm going to go up that. I want to be able to meet people that have the same disease that I do. And I want to hear, what they're doing. Because I just had my rheumatologist appointment. What's today? Friday. I saw him on Monday. And we were talking about, the pain and just getting off of the prednisone. He said, well, there are other medications that we could add to if you want to be more aggressive. And he had talked about Benlysta,
Mhm.
and he was more pointing towards that versus the what's the other one? Nefello or
There's
something.
Safanella. There's a few other ones. Okay, but
Okay, well,
definitely they're biologics. He was looking. So
yeah,
today we have biologics. We're going to do a program, hopefully in November with Metro on biologics, so that our fellow Lupians have a better understanding what that is. Okay,
okay.
but
See, patient here at the office that um I think she's like a rep that goes to the offices.
mhm,
If she works for that company or, but she was telling me because I was telling her that I was diagnosed with lupus. And she was telling me about some of those
mhm,
biologics. She
right,
said they speak volumes. And, the people that have tried them, have had good experiences with them. So I'm still not sure if I'm ready to, jump into something like that, but I
right.
am.
When
I
they
know.
first came out, it was like, and it was been listed. At the time, I wasn't a candidate for it because I have central nervous system involvement. But through,
Okay,
it's been around over 10 years now. So that was like our miracle drug that came out. Because before that, we only had Plaquenil, which was a drug we stole from malaria. Okay.
right,
But Plaquenil's been a successful drug for me until I have flares, and then they throw everything but their kitchen sink at me. Um,
right,
so for everybody, it's a different journey. So we'll see. The biologics, the only negative thing I have with that is the expense of them.
right,
Um, and I don't know where we're at with insurances and Medicaid and Medicare. Things are getting kind of crazy right now. Um,
right,
so, but we'll see. Like I said, tomorrow, there's a lot on the horizon to give us hope to have a better quality of life. And
right.
you're certainly in a different era than I was when I went through all the craziness when lupus was a death sentence back then. They didn't know anything. But I'm sitting here looking at the wall, and I thought of this during last night when I was trying to sleep, because that's another issue is sleep.
Yeah,
Is we have these plaques from the walk that every year we make. We list the people that we lost during the year. And I'm looking back the first several years, there are like rows of these names. And I'm looking at last year's and the year before, and there's less and less death, and that gives me great joy. That
yeah,
it gives me
that's
great joy.
no
Yeah,
hope.
yeah. Although it does happen, and we recently lost a young girl. She was 18, right in the neighborhood here, of an infection to her ear that went to her brain. And so you hear those stories. So you always have to be vigilant. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. If you're
Right.
not sure if it's lupus or something else, put your doctor on autopilot. And if you got a great one, it sounds like you do,
I
yeah, keep him. You're gonna cry if he retires. When my retired, it was like painful. It was painful.
right. Well,
All right, so
he's
you're coming to the walk. You raised a lot of money. Tell me how you did that trick.
what's that?
You're coming to the walk. You raised a lot of money. You have a nice team. How'd you pull that off?
I I'm not real sure. I just have some really great people in my life.
Yeah.
Will say I have a new employee that started at my office here, and she is also one of my walkers.
Oh,
And she also donated a very large amount of money.
kudos.
And um, I feel like God kind of brought her into my life as well. So it was really cool. I was like, she was the first person I thought of when I was like, I want to do the walk, but I don't want to walk by myself. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to go to Cleveland. So I don't want to go do it by myself. I know I won't be by myself because all of you guys are going to be there, but, I still wanted to have somebody with me. And so I asked her, and she was like, absolutely, I'll do it. And so she was the first one to sign up with me. And then my mom, she's my biggest supporter. She
Sure.
was with me at the appointment when I was diagnosed, and she still didn't, I don't think she like could understand all of it either because even afterwards I had like my cousins and my aunts from down in Georgia that were texting me and saying, "Well, your mom said that you might have lupus, but she's not sure. And I was like, I don't think she was listening or she just didn't hear. But, so she's my biggest supporter. And I wanted her to do it with me, but she's having some hip stuff going
Oh,
on.
geez.
So I bought her one of those rollators,
Uh-huh.
and it's purple. So
Oh, great.
so I bought her one, and I had it sent to her house. And I said, "Are you excited?" And she was like, "Yeah, I should be, but it just means I'm old." And so
Aw.
we might both need it, but whatever.
She
You're
doesn't have to actually walk. She can actually, be an angel in the crowd, I call them. I actually
uh,
do there's no way I'm walking that walk. I'd be dead at the end of it. But there are patients that do walk it, but it's really the family and the friends are the ones who muster the task. A lot of us do a short little walk with me that's more manageable, or she
okay.
could just hang behind. And like I call them angels in the crowd. And I'm just so excited that I think it's great. I think what people don't understand is that if you ask for help, people will give it to you. Okay.
Yeah,
I know your team is doing great, and some of the teams are not doing so great. And I think they're afraid to ask people, but you have to
right.
understand people give to people, and people give to people who ask, you know?
Yeah. And see, I'm usually not like that. I don't like to ask, I
Mhm.
don't like to ask for help. I don't want, and
Yeah.
prideful stuff. But I thought, you know what? It's not just for me. I'm not asking for me. There are other people that, I have talked to in these support groups and things that are having a way worse time than I am.
Mhm.
I know, what I read about the foundation, the things that the foundation does for people like us. They need it just as much as I do. I might not need it now, but 5 years down the line, tomorrow, my husband might lose his job. I might lose my job. I
Mhm.
don't. So yeah, to know that.
Valerie, I'm going to turn you into a commercial. I need somebody good. I need someone to shout our praises because I haven't heard any praises in a long time. I think people are so depressed and so down that they
Right,
don't look at the good stuff that comes their way. So, you've been with our lupus family a short time. What would
right.
you tell a new lupus person as they embark on their journey? What would you tell them?
Uh, the biggest thing is yes, reach out to others. I feel like support, and actually, one of the ladies that used to be a hygienist here at my office, she has since retired, but she may be walking with us. Her daughter in law, she's not diagnosed yet,
Mhm.
but there are a lot of things in her blood work that are, so she's on that journey.
Mhm.
And it was crazy because the day that I sent her the text about the walk was the day that her daughter-in-law found out. She had a horrible rash on her legs and just a lot of things. And
Mhm.
so it was like, yeah, God is all over it. God puts people in our lives. And so,
I call them God's winks.
oh, yeah, I call them God shots, but yeah, same.
God winks.
And it's like when she told me that, I said, I gave her information, check out this place is where I can go and talk to other people. I gave her all of the information. I said, go to the foundation, tell her, because I think she lives down in North Carolina or South
Mhm.
Carolina somewhere. I said, I'm sure they have a chapter, or, the foundation is there. You'll find where you need to go from there. Just reach out, get a group of people that you can talk to. And so,
Well,
yeah, that's the biggest thing. You got to be able to have somebody to talk to. Because I will say, in the beginning, that depression part of it, when you start thinking about, what's tomorrow gonna today was good, but what's tomorrow
Mhm.
gonna look like? And I still find myself in that. And that's my alcoholic brain too, but you
Well,
gotta be
I think you're such a newbie in it. The loss of your old self takes time. It takes time. You're mourning your own self, but keep in mind, I always look at the half full thing. Is it half? I was thinking of that last night too. Is the glass half full? Is it half empty? And my psychologist said, "What difference does it make? You got a pitcher of water sitting right next to it, so it's up
right,
to me to fill it up. To always make it full. So whenever
right,
I think get blue, and I do have my moments. I'm not going to lie and say everything's cherry. I mean, I put a good mask on all the time, but it's not fun, but it sure works a lot better when you have other around you who are empathetic and understand and are supportive. And it's very important. And to have good resources. All right.
right.
So resources was important. And we really try to help people at the foundation with resources. And we have the latest, most accurate information there is about lupus. So there's no reason why they go somewhere else for it. Okay, no reason. But
All right.
Valerie, congratulations to you. You are in the Diamond Club. So the Diamond, woo, woo, woo. Not too many people rise to that platform. So you have your own little tent for you and your little team. We have a t-shirt, a diamond t-shirt being made for you with your name and a diamond on the sleeve. And we are so excited for you that you're new to us and you're energetic and you're thriving. You're thriving and you're a wonderful asset to our family. And I can't thank you enough to you and your family and your friends. The dollars are so important to us. We've gotten beat up financially on all fronts this year from all angles. And I promise you, we're going to take those dollars or nickels and turn them into quarters. And I am so excited and looking forward to seeing you in person. And I don't know who's in charge of weather, but I can tell you this, I'm going to keep you safe in Cleveland. Okay.
I hope that I've been praying that God gives us that 75
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that
with
be
the
nice?
cast because we don't need the sunshine. We
No,
don't, lupus, we know that
we
lupus
know.
do not need the sunshine. So
Yeah.
I was thinking I need to get myself a big old hat because
Well,
I don't like
we have them around here somewhere. We have these big sun
it.
hats that say lupus on them. Um,
Absolutely.
but okay, I'm going to end this and welcome. Thank you so much, Valerie. I really appreciate that you're spending the time and you're in your looks like your purple scrubs there hiding in your office. Thank your boss too and your team over there for allowing you to spend time with me. And for all those watching, remember, this is just a conversation among fellow Lupians, and your doctor is the best resource to tell you how to treat your disease. But we do wish that you would reach out to the Lupus Foundation at 1-888-NO-LUPUS or www.lupus Greater Ohio. But more importantly, get involved. You don't have to do this journey by yourself. There is no I in lupus, but there is the word us. Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Great job, Val. You did a great job.